All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center. Our topic today is power. We're going to start out with a song called One Great Power. So I invite you to stand up and sing with us. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is just one presence, there's just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There's just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. There is just one purpose, there's just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. It's what's one chorus we all can sing, with one great power let it ring. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. One great power. 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 One great power everywhere. Let's hear some of that powerful guitar, Brian. Let's do the first verse one more time. There was just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. It's just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere. Go. One great power everywhere. All right, thank you.
Help me to welcome Reverend Gordon Keyler.
Good morning, and good morning to everybody out there in Facebook land, and I lost you on my feed here. Oh, well. Hi! I am so glad you are all here today, and before we get started, I would just like to give a big shout out to all of the people who worked so hard this week on getting our offices moved into this building. So if you helped with that, please, if you're not too tired, please stand up. Yes, thank you. And there were many more. There were many more, including John and Chris Porosky and so many others that helped make that move possible, and we are so grateful. Good news, if you need any office furniture or cabinets or shelves, we're getting rid of what's left across the street. I'm going to open up the office after the old office. After service, if you want to come over and give a love offering or just take it, I don't care. Let's get it out of there so we don't have to have a bonfire. It's too hot. So that will be after the service. And is there anybody here for the very first time? Oh, yes, we do have some of you. Welcome. We are so glad you are here with us today. Yes, welcome. Please make sure I get to connect with you after the service. I want to be able to say hi and get to know you. And we want you to know that you are home here. Whatever brought you here today, whether you are seeking community, spiritual growth, healing, whatever, you will find it here. And we invite you to join us after the service for hospitality. We have plenty of food and refreshments. and a chance to get to know each other. So please feel free to join us. It's right out that door and down the hall. So we are glad you are here with us. And now let's check in with our social media. Our social media check-in today is Claiming My Power, as we continue our 12 Power series based on the movie today, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. How many of you have seen it? How many of you have never seen it or read the book? Some of you haven't? Oh my gosh, okay. Well, I'll make something up for you. No. Once you have checked in with your social media check-in, please put your phone on Do Not Disturb. And with that, I will turn it back over to Michael.
Thank you, Gordon. Here's some announcements for July 21st, 2024. Tapping for Health and Wellness class is happening with Chris Acklin today at 11:45 to 12:45 in classroom 4. It's going to happen right after service today. The Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, is also known as tapping. It is a technique that has been around since 1995. Acupressure points are tapped in sequence to help release physical and emotional pain. The positive effects are quick and long-lasting. It is that time of year again, and school starting August 7th. For many years, USC has supported Mountain View Elementary School by donating backpacks and school supplies. We will be collecting donated items through August 4th. School supplies lists for each grade are available in the foyer. Pick a grade and help these kiddos get a good start to their school year. It means so much, and it is so appreciated. Items may be dropped off here on Sunday, just behind me. You can see it's starting to pile up. Or you can come to the office and drop it off Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As Gordon said, we've already moved from across the street. The USC office it will be open and effective this week. Please enter through the ADA door on the east side of the building. The administrative office will be to your left as you come in. And as Gordon just said, there's furniture and other items for sale. They can be viewed today right after church, or you can come Tuesday through Thursday and take a look at them. Check in at the new office, and we'll take you over there. There will be a love offering asked. Sacred Chants is happening Friday, July 26th at 7 p.m. in the sanctuary. There's also a love offering asked. The Universe is calling book study with Reverend Geo Dower. Embark upon the international transformative journey into the heart of divine consciousness. Join us for a thrilling worldwide live ride of an internet in-person study group exploring profound and wisdom and prayer through Eric Butterworth's masterpiece. The Universe is calling online starting August 8th at 6:30. Please register with the office. Next week, we have a guest speaker. His name is Paul John. Oh, August 4th. I'm a week ahead. Paul John Roach is a native of Wales, UK, a graduate of Jesus College, Oxford University. Paul has a BA and an MA degree in English and a postgrad degree in education from the University of Wales. Paul was ordained at Unity Ministerial School in Kansas City, Missouri in 1988. Paul served as the senior minister at Unity at Fort Worth from 1988 until retiring in 2018. He has also served the Unity movement on several boards and teams, including the board of Unity World Headquarters. Okay. All right. Paul hosted a podcast entitled World Spirituality with Reverend John Roach for 14 years, interviewing spiritual leaders and authors from around the world. Paul is the author of the award-winning book, Unity and World Religions, which focus on the perennial psychology within all spiritual traditions. He has written a number of articles for Unity magazine and other publications. He is currently working on his second book about his journey in India in 1976. So right after the service, there will be also a workshop, and there will be a love offering asked. Now, there are many activities and events happening at Unity Spiritual Center. We encourage you to check our website, Facebook page, YouTube, online newsletter, or just call the office for more detailed information. Okay, our worship team. You've already met Reverend Gordon Keyler. Jeff Sadal is our trustee of the day, and along with him would be Glenda Fagan, thank you. I am your host, Michael Small. Susie Orchard and Martine Beckman is our prayer chaplains, and you'll find them on either side of the sanctuary after the service if you need a prayer. If you can't join them, there's prayer slips in the back, so please fill that out and put it in the prayer slips. Todd Lowry is our music director. Along with Todd Lowry is our USC band, which is Brian Griesmeyer, Sharon Eldridge, and our special guest, Becca Grant. And we want to say thank you to our AVLM team back in the back, John Vandemay, Elizabeth Carl, and the volunteer slide operator, Elaine Kajikawa. Huh? Ellen. Sorry, Ellen. All right. So, Glenda and Jeff, come on up.
Good morning, Unity. Happy Sunday. My name is Jeff Sadal. I'm your trustee of the day, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to Glenda Fagan, who is our new board member. And she's also the board secretary. So she is shadowing me today to get trained up on what the TOD does. So I'd like you to join me in reading our vision, our mission, and our core values. Let's start with the vision. Centered in love, we see a harmonious world of divine expression. Is the slide going to change? Did it? Oh, mission. We inspire spiritual growth through honoring many paths, education, prayer, sacred service, and abundant living. Thank you. And now the core values. We are Christ-centered, loving, inclusive, joyous, uplifting, open-minded, and fun. All right, the Unity Credo. We believe all people are created with sacred worth. We serve all people in emotional and spiritual ways. We welcome the diversity of all. God and unity leave no one out. There we go. Ways to give. So you can give in person right here in the service. There is a Church Center app, which I find very convenient and easy to do from my phone. You can give online at www.uscabq.org/give, or by phone, text to give, 84321. Join me for the offering blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Here's a song called Discover the Power Within You. 1, 2, 3, 4. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. Inside me there's an the power within you. Discover your awesome power. We can create a new earth. We can cause the world's rebirth. When we use our awesome power, we can change the world. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. All discovery, self-discovery, all knowledge is self-knowledge. Truth is something in ourselves, truth is within you. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. Discover the power within you, the power within you. Discover the power within you, discover your awesome power. Discover your awesome power. Discover your awesome power. Discover the power within. Discover the power within you. Thank you.
Please join me for the prosperity dedication. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all the needs and desires of Unity Spiritual Center and those we serve are bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good is here and now. Thank you, God.
All right, it's time for a congregational song. I invite people to stand up, and we're going to sing a round. We're going to divide it sort of into three parts, kind of one third, one third, one third. And Becca will take the first part, and then you go. Then the second part again. Then you can't continue, and the second part will be with Brian, and the third part with me. Let's just go over the tune right now, and it goes like this. First part is this with Becca. I am. That's all those people over there. In me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. And then the second part will be the middle. That you will Brian. In the love, in the glory of God, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. That was good. That was powerful. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, God's Spirit, God's Spirit is in this very room.
The word of the day is valuable. Each person is fully divine and fully human. Each person uniquely expresses their humanity using the principles that make up their divinity. Quote, God is the universal principle which includes all principles. Quote, Charles Fillmore. Principle is everywhere, present in its entirety, at every point in space at the same time. From Eric Butterworth. A new insight and truth. Everyone and everything has the same underlying divinity. I am valuable and make unique contributions to the people around me. I am a valued member of the human family. I leave behind critical or negative opinions I may have held about myself and treat myself with kindness and respect. Like a beautiful gemstone, I too am a precious jewel among so many others. Together we sparkle and shine. I am valuable.
And as we think about our power and our value, we move deeper, deeper, deeper into our heart center. Feeling that divine connection with the source of our power. God is my source. God is my power. The power to create. My power, my expression of power, is in the words I speak, the thoughts I think, and in my highest usage of power. I think and speak words that create, words that heal, words that uplift. For I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory, and in the power. In my quiet times of meditation, I remember that I have the power to create a life of God expressing, a light of joy, a life of love. I choose how I use my gift of power. Sometimes I sing out with a joyful noise. Hi, Scarlett. Sometimes I sit in quiet contemplation. And sometimes I affirm that which I want to manifest in my life and in my world. I know that the words I use on a daily basis are my choice. I can choose to speak words like love, peace, abundance. I can choose to speak words to others that uplift, that empower, that include. The choice is mine. And so I connect my gift of power with wisdom and love, so that I may speak into creation all that is good, all that is pure, all that is perfect. In silent meditation, I open myself up to receive divine power so that I may create a world of peace, a world of beauty, a world of love. In the silence, I receive. And as I feel that flow of divine power, I affirm that I will remember to use my gift of power wisely, so that it may be a force for good in the world. And I affirm as I return to this moment, this place, this time, that there is quite enough love, quite enough hope, and quite enough power right here in this very room.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, God's Spirit, God's Spirit. is in this very room.
All right, we're going to do a kind of an old favorite by the group Devotion, which no longer exists, but it was on the list of suggested music for this week, and we actually, Becca wrote some kind of updated lyrics, and it's called Do All You Can. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In this world, so much diversity, with all this richness to gain. Yet it seems we can't get along. There's so much anger, hatred, and blame. You've got to do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. It's not hard, join me in this one. Very nice. We have the power to make a change. To love, we're looking for more. Search inside, you see we're all just the same. That's what we came here for. Let's all just do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Here's our part, right? Do all you can. One more time. It's up to you and it's up to me. We just need to begin to be the change you wish to see in this world. You have the power within. You've got to do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Here we go. We have the power to make a change. Do all you can. And be the change you want to see in this world. Do all you can. It's up to you, it's up to me. Do all you can. Do all you can. Do all you can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Unity Band. Whew. Yeah, let's give them another hand. Thank you. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is doing all we can to make a change in the world using our power of power. As you know, we are in the midst of our 12 Power film series, using a different film from popular culture to explore each one of our 12 powers. And today we are going to be exploring one of the most misunderstood powers, the power of power. Sometimes we say the gift of power just to, so it doesn't get too confusing. But what are our 12 powers? For those of you who may not know, we believe, 12 key powers. We actually have an infinite number of powers, but we have 12 key powers that we use to create the world we live in our own personal experience, the world we coexist in as a community, as villages, as families, as nations, even as spiritual centers. Those powers are faith, strength, love, wisdom, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, enthusiasm or zeal, elimination or release, and the power of life. There's nothing magical about these powers, nor do you have to be a member of Unity to have these powers. In fact, every human being who has ever lived, is living, or ever will live has these powers. It's just that we explore them intentionally so that we can develop them. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, along with Myrtle Fillmore, believed that in developing our 12 powers, we can more fully express our own Christ potential. And he based that on his observation of how many times the number 12 appears in sacred scriptures of pretty much every religion on earth. In the Christian and Judaic tradition, of course, there were the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 pillars in the temple, and, of course, 12 apostles. And he believed that that was significant in that it reminded us, it modeled for us this knowledge, this understanding of using these 12 powers. In fact, he used as a way of memorizing and developing his understanding of the 12 powers, each power was connected to a disciple. And again, there's nothing magical or dogmatic about that. It was just a way that he used and we use to more fully understand how we incorporate these powers in our lives. So today, we are going to look at the power of power. What is it? Any thoughts? You all know you have power, right? What is your power of power? How do you use it? What does it do? Power of choice. Okay, we'll start with that. It is truly all about choice. Our power is our ability to convert an idea into something manifest. Everything has always started as an idea. The chair you are sitting in started as an idea in somebody's head. Somebody got tired of sitting on the ground or on rocks or tree stumps and said, there's got to be something a little more comfortable. And it started as an idea. We use these ideas to create the world we live in, the words we speak, the actions we take, and what we build. And when we are in the right consciousness, we affirm our oneness with our higher power, with God. And we understand that it is not I, but the Christ within that does the work. It is the power within us that does the work. We use it. And we can choose, like you said, to use it for good or for something less than good. We can use it to build up or to tear down. And that's what our lesson today about power really is all about. How do we use it? First thing we do is we combine it with our power of wisdom and love so that when we make decisions, we make good decisions. We make decisions that build up, decisions that empower, decisions that affirm. We make wise choices. And then our power puts those into action. Werner Erhard wrote this: "It is important that you get clear for yourself that your only access to impacting life is action. The world does not care what you intend, what you are committed to, how you feel, or what you think, and it has no interest in what you want or don't want." He goes on to say, "Take a look at life as it is lived and see for yourself that the world only moves when you act. Your world only moves when you act." So our power then is in incorporating our choices into what we are building, making wise choices. How do we do this? Well, to live authentically means to be fully self-aware and self-actualized. Whoa, that sounds like a big thing, doesn't it? To be fully self-aware and self-actualized. Well, the good news is we are always fully self-aware and fully self-actualized to the level of our understanding in the moment. And so our goal then is to become more and more and more aware of who we really are and what we really are. To be self-aware and self-actualized. There is nothing more powerful than an individual who uses their power consciously. And yes, you can use power unconsciously too, but it's far better to use it consciously. For those of you who have not read the books or seen the movies of Harry Potter, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Hopefully you're at least familiar with the basic arc of the story. A young child who has been orphaned grows up in his aunt and uncle's house, and he's really mistreated because although he is not aware of it yet, he has magic. He is a wizard. And of course, his aunt and uncle and cousin are not. They're what they call muggles, which I'll explain in a minute. But they're afraid of this wizarding world. They're afraid of people who have power because they don't realize they all have power. Harry's parents were killed by an evil wizard named Lord Voldemort. And Voldemort used his power to control and to manipulate. His misuse of power grew from his own sadness, his own anger, and eventually his own paranoia. He wasn't created bad. His power was like everybody else's power. It could be used for good or bad. He did not have a good life growing up either, and he chose to use it for bad. There was nothing empowering about how he used his power. He demanded obedience from his followers and killed anyone who opposed him, including Harry's parents. So what does it mean then to be in our power, to claim our power? It means we claim ourself. It means we integrate all of our parts, all of our gifts, all of our talents, all of our innate abilities, our education, and yes, our shadow. That's important. Are we willing to see all of us, all of ourself, our light and our shadow? When we look at ourselves, how do we judge ourselves? Do we judge from the place of goodness or from the place of badness? The place of beauty or the place of ugly? Or do we understand that all of that is within each and every one of us? Voldemort had it all in him. He chose to focus on the shadow rather than incorporate and heal the shadow. What does all this mean to us? It means that we are willing to observe and tell the truth to ourselves about our strengths and our weaknesses. Charles Fillmore wrote in The 12 Powers, "It follows that every kind of human industry must be carried forward by a power that recognizes divine law. We are the power of God in action." For some people, that's very scary, but it is the truth. We say we are God expressing. Another way of saying it is we are the power of God in action. To us is given the highest power in the universe. Now, this was written 100 years ago. The conscious power of thought. There is a universal creative force that urges us forward to a recognition of the creative power of our individual thought. This force is elemental, and all of its attributes come under the dominion of humanity. When we cooperate with divine principle, we sit on the throne of our authority, and our elemental force is subject to us. And again, how do we use it? Now, all that sounds pretty heavy, especially that part of we sit on the throne of our authority and the elemental force is subject to us. If we're not in the right consciousness, that can be pretty influenced by ego. But from spiritual understanding, we know that with that level of power comes a commensurate level of responsibility. That is what the great masters understood, like Jesus and Buddha and so many others. They understood their power. They also understood the responsibility that came with it. And that's what the Voldemorts of the world do not understand. In that consciousness, in that lower consciousness, that lower understanding of our power, it becomes about me. What can I get? Who can I control? How can I profit? How can I be right? How can I get my way? But the conscious use of power is only concerned with how can I contribute? How can I support others in claiming their power? How can I empower others to live a fully authentic life? Think about Jesus. Jesus was an itinerant teacher who quietly rocked the most powerful government in the Western world of his time. And he changed history forever, at least for us. In claiming his power, Jesus found himself. And this can happen to us when we claim our power. Isn't that interesting? Jesus did not come to overthrow a government. He came to teach that the kingdom of heaven is right here, right now. It's not something we have to go out and find. It's not something we have to force into manifestation. We're in it. Jesus didn't force anyone or even use his own power to get people to believe in him. He just showed up as who he fully was and who he came here to be. He was just being very quietly powerful and empowering. And to those who were using their power unconsciously, this was very frightening. Which brings us back to Harry Potter. In the first movie, Harry starts getting letters on his 11th birthday. And they're inviting him to attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. But his stepfather will not let him see the letters. They keep coming in droves through the windows, down the chimney, covering the lawn out in front of the house. And so they decide they got to get Harry away from this because they're afraid of power, because they don't understand what it is. So they spirit Harry off to an island which is just big enough for a lighthouse in a storm. But even that could not keep that message from reaching Harry. There was a giant who worked at the school. He was the gameskeeper named Hagrid. And he tracked down Harry to this scary remote island. And he invited him in person to join him at Hogwarts School. Now, he didn't tell him he had to go. He said, "Do you want to go?" Think about what Jesus did. Every time he did a healing, every time he did a teaching, he would say things, "Do you want to be whole? Do you want to hear what I have to say?" And there were times, one for sure that we know of, where they didn't. And he said, "Okay." And in the Bible, it says he shook the dust off his feet and went on. That was just a way of saying, not now, not here. They're not ready. That's okay. Well, Harry, you can probably imagine when he first becomes aware of what Hagrid is telling him. Hagrid says to him, "You, Harry, are a wizard." And Harry replies, No, you've made a mistake. I can't be a wizard. I'm Harry, just Harry." How many of us have done that? How many of us, in learning that we are created in the image and likeness of God, say, "Not me. I'm just me. I'm not made in the image and likeness of God." It's a mistake. How many of us have done the same thing? How many of us do the same thing? Imagine not knowing your own power. Can you imagine what it was like for Harry? If you've seen the movie or read the books, you know what it was like for Harry. All of a sudden, he finds out he's not just a regular person. He'll come to realize nobody is a regular person. But for an 11-year-old kid, this is a big revelation. How many of us, that's a big revelation? Think about it. Everyone in the world of magic knew who Harry Potter was, but he did not know who he was. And that power frightened everybody who wasn't in that world. What they call muggles. Muggles were people who did not know they were magical, who did not have that power. They had the potential for it, but they didn't have it because they didn't know it. In Harry's case, his family had gone out of their way to discourage him ever finding that out, and then throughout the rest of the series, ever using that power. How many of us live in a world where that happens? Or maybe we've done it to somebody, where we don't believe we have the power. Harry's family was afraid of his potential. Sometimes we're afraid of our own potential. Harry's family went out of their way to belittle him, to make him feel less than, to deny who he really was, until eventually the truth came out and he was told of his true nature. Now, he then goes to Hogwarts School, where he meets people who support him in being who he is. He meets Ron and Hermione, his friends and his teachers. And he meets some who don't quite accept him where he is. How many of you remember Draco Malfoy? Yes. Draco, who says, "Someday you'll find out who the true wizarding families are." Because he came from a family that had a misunderstanding of what power was. In his family, he was taught that power was to be used to control others, to inflict your way and your will on others. And he tells Harry, "You'll soon find out that some wizarding families are better than others. In other words, join my family." And he says, "You don't want to hang out with the wrong sort. I can help you with that." Harry was already starting to step into wisdom, though, which goes along with power. And he replies to Draco, "I think I can figure out the wrong sort for myself, thank you." And then he's faced with his first big choice. Again, power is about choices. And that is when he's put into one of the 4 houses at Hogwarts School. And he wants to be in the same house as his new friends, Ron and Hermione. And so he says, "I want to be in Gryffindor." There's the sorting hat. They put the hat on him, and the hat chooses which house you go into. And there's this conversation that says, "You could be powerful in Slytherin," which is a house that teaches how not to use power or how to use it amiss. And he says, "No, I want to be in Gryffindor. I'm making the choice to be in Gryffindor." He's basing this on wisdom, love, faith, and courage, although he doesn't realize it yet. And of course, he gets put into Gryffindor. It requires courage. It requires choice. In the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it says, "Do not fear to develop your power and mastery. However, be mindful that they are not exercised on other people, but rather on yourself." Rather on yourself. It's all about making that choice. So that's the first gist of the first movie. In the second movie, the one we're going to look at a clip from today, not yet, guys, called The Chamber of Secrets. Harry has gone through this whole adventure in this movie where there's the guy who founded the House of Slytherin, appropriate name, has built this secret chamber where this giant snake-like creature lived called a basilisk. And anybody who looks on the basilisk is paralyzed. And so they go through all this process to find out where the Chamber of Secrets is and to defeat the basilisk and kill him. And Harry breaks a lot of rules that the school has to get this done. Sometimes you got to break the rules. Now, I'm not saying break the law. I'm saying sometimes we have to step out of what is normal. And so he has accomplished all of this. He's defeated the basilisk. He saved one of the other students, Ginny, and several others, and defeated one of the incarnations of Lord Voldemort. Now, Voldemort had different incarnations throughout the series of the movies, Horcruxes, they called them. This was one. And in that process, he just makes a startling discovery, a scary discovery. He discovers that he shares some of the same powers that Lord Voldemort has. So this scene that we're going to see takes place in the headmaster Dumbledore's office after he has done all of this. And he's questioning, what is this dark power I'm seeing? So would you play the clip, please? Show what we truly are. It is our choices. We see throughout Harry's journey in these books and movies, him learning more and more about his abilities, about developing his power of intention, and the abilities that Voldemort transferred to him. This learning requires that he embrace it all, and it is only when he embraces both his light and his darkness, both the abilities that he inherited from his parents and those he gained through Voldemort's attack, that he was able to step into his own full power. He grew to understand that what we deny persists. And until he was willing to overcome his fear of that darkness, the powers that Voldemort had transferred to him, his fear, his revulsion, and embrace them, that he was able to claim his power. Imagine the courage that would take. That's a powerful choice to make, as the rest of the wizarding world in these books was so terrified of Voldemort that they wouldn't even say his name. He was always referred to as, who knows it? He who shall not be named, yes. Their denial was so strong, their fear of this powerful shadow of what a wizard could become, that they denied its very existence. Which leads us to ask, what are we afraid to name? What are we afraid to see? Harry had the courage, the strength to call Voldemort by name, to acknowledge where wizards can go bad, and in so doing so, he claimed the power. Throughout the series, we see Harry and his friends supporting one another through many obstacles and triumphs, through joy and sorrow, and ultimately to the triumph of good over evil. The triumph of power used for good over power used for evil. That's the choice we make. And we truly step into our power when we recognize that power just is. It is how we use it that determines whether it is good or evil. Jimi Hendrix quoted other writers when he wrote, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." We're experiencing that struggle in a very real world in our world today. Look around. The love of power is standing in the way of peace. I think about history, and one of the examples of standing up for the right use of power from our own history. A little over 400 years ago, the first European settlers came here, fleeing religious intolerance and persecution and oppressive monarchy. And like Harry and his friends, they sought freedom from seemingly undefeatable power. 200 years later, the Constitution was written. Well, first the Declaration of Independence, resulting in the Revolutionary War, and then the Constitution. And we elected George Washington as our president. We were at an interesting choice point right there. George Washington could have stepped into the role of king or emperor. There were those who wanted him to step into that role. Instead, he stepped into the role of a humble servant. He recognized that he had great power, but with great power came great responsibility. And after he had served his 2 terms, he returned to his farm. He was one of the most powerful people in North America at the time. And yet, he let that power go when it was appropriate to let it go. He could have embraced the shadow. He could have claimed power to rule over others, but instead, he set it down. That's the power. Now, I know, for those of you who might observe, that George Washington was not perfect. That's a given. He was a rich white man who owned slaves. That is part of our history and part of our country's DNA. That is the shadow part of it. And for a long time, we refused to look at any of that. And yet, we are beginning to understand more and more and more as individuals and as a nation that we are all a mixture of dark and light, of shadow and grace. And we can choose to let the light shine. So what do we do with that? How do we use that in our own lives? How do we go from being tempted by power and choose instead to serve a greater good? In Harry Potter, the wizarding world was freed from a terrible evil. Because of George Washington's choices, we were spared becoming another monarchy. We became a haven for those fleeing oppression and for those yearning to be free to live and worship as they choose. And it's always an ongoing struggle, and will continue to be an ongoing struggle until we as a people can embrace the full shadow. For us personally, it will always be a struggle until we can embrace our own shadows. We can't take freedom either personally or nationally or any other way for granted. We have to take our own responsibility, and that starts with our own choices. So what choices are we making in our lives today? Are we choosing to exercise our power on ourselves, to develop our own gifts and abilities? Just as the freedom that we fought for over 200 years ago brought great responsibility, so does exercising our power bring great responsibility. Do we focus on making the biggest contribution to the world that we can, the biggest difference that we can? Do we practice our principles, demonstrating our values, or not? George Bernard Shaw wrote in The Joy of Life, "The true joy in life is being used for a purpose. Recognize by yourself as being a mighty one, being a force of nature, instead of a feverish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy." He went on, "I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community. And as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for that community whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. And the more I live, the more I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I've got to hold up for the moment. And I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations." Jimmy Carter said it a little different. "My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, and for as long as I can. And with whatever I have, to try to make a difference." Kind of like the song we just sang. Do you see a theme here? It's all about what choices are we making. How are we using our power? You know, sometimes making a difference can seem to be overwhelming. Like, how can I make a difference? How can I do enough to really change things? In the Talmud, it is written, "Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it? That's a powerful statement. We are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are we free to abandon it. And as we work on ourselves, we are working on the world itself. Like Harry, we can commit to claiming our power even when it scares us. We can commit to using our power to help, not to hurt, to empower, not to overpower, to give, not to take, to spread love, not to spread hate. The choice is ours. What will we choose? Namaste.
So this is a song that I wrote. It's called Sing for the Truth, and I kind of reflected on when it becomes more scary to not act than it is to act. What kind of fear is it that we want to overcome? Is it the fear of standing up, or is it the fear of not standing up? When I was a child, I knew what life was for. I knew what I stood for without regret. But then there comes a time when life, it makes you cry. And with a silent sigh, I shut my mouth. I kept inside, in my mind, all I have. All those times I didn't stand, I didn't raise my hand, too scared to take a chance and be vulnerable. But now I realize no one sees it with my eyes, no reason to compromise with who I am. So don't keep inside, in my mind, all I have. I dare to let it out, sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon, and the words will come to you. Sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon, and the words will come to you. They'll come to you. They'll come to you. If you just be you. Just be you. Just be you. Oh, just be you. Oh, just be you. All those words I didn't say could have changed the world today, could have altered all our fates, but I can't go back. So now I sing this song, I show when I've been wrong. My weakness makes me strong, even though I'm scared. So don't keep inside, in your mind, all you have. Dare to let it out. Sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon, and the words will come to you. Sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon, and the words will come to you. They'll come to you. just be you. Just be you. Oh, just be you. Oh, just be you. Sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon. And the world will come to you. Sing for the truth, sing for you. No one else is going to. Sing for the truth, it's never too soon to just be you.
All right, Brian. All right. We have some kids back there. Let's sing them in.
You're walking in the light of God. 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 You're walking, 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 walking in the light of God. You're walking, 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 walking in the light of God.
Hello, Unity family. Happy Sunday. Nice to see you all out there. I think we're missing our teens today. I think they took a day off. But we do have our littles today, and one teen over here. Yay. All right, does anybody have anything they want to share today? Okay.
So when we started, we were making bracelets. My sister made me these two. And I was making a necklace for somebody. And we read a book about butterflies and how they travel a long ways away from wherever they live. And we were out of popsicle sticks, we were making butterflies, and yeah.
Thanks, Genevieve. And Genevieve and Kira have beautiful matching outfits. Do you guys mind showing? It's pretty cool. They look very cute. And we did realize we had sister power today. We have 3 sets of sisters up here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, anybody else want to share today? If not, would you guys? Oh, okay. All right, will you please join me in blessing these beautiful children?
Children, you are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you just the way you are. And now let's stand, we'll say our prayer for protection, sing our peace song, and don't forget, if you're interested in looking at what we have across the street, I'll open it up for you. All right, guys, you ready? Okay. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is and all is. Woo!